Welcome, Doom fans. This is what we are going to cover today. Some simple builder stuff, and the tools, and we're going to make a simple room, if I can remember how to. So with no further ado, let's try and do this. So this is the Doom Builder. Fairly simple but powerful tool to create our map. We have some tools that we can't use. Look at it, or they aren't visible because we haven't created a map or an area to create a Doom map on. There are several ways to do this. You can click File, New Map. Eventually we are going to open a map because we are going to continuously make progress on the one we are creating today. We can make a new map or open a map here. When we have one, we can save it there, Control C, or save map, save as, and so on. And we can also press Control N, like in most Windows programs, to make a new map. But for simplicity's sake, I will press File and choose to create a new map from this menu here. To create a map, we will need to set a few options. What sort of a map are we creating, from Doom 1 or Doom 2 for instance? And we will need some resources for textures and so on. At least from in the beginning I will work on normal standard Doom map. We can set up Doom in hexen format for instance. Then we can use slopes, doors that slide sideways and so on, but for the moment we will create a normal vanilla Doom 1 map. Doom 2 maps uses slightly different level names, but Doom uses episode name or episode level and map level. So this is relevant as to what music is played and so on. If you're just creating a single map, this one is as good as any, but you can change anyone, and when you test the map, the appropriate level music will be there. Or you can make several maps from episode 1, 1, 2, 3, 4 and so on, and compile them into an episode. I might cover that also at a later date. I haven't actually done that. There will be other video tutorials for that on the tube, I gather. For now, let's just create an episode 1 map 1 level from Doom 1. And we need a resource. This is where your original game WOD comes in handy. We will need, for Doom map, we will need the Doom one WOD, which I have copied from my Steam Doom collection to this map for convenience sake. I also save my own here. We can also use additional texture things as WODs, but for now let's just use the standard Doom WOD. Click OK, and we have a black screen to play on. First thing we can look at are these 6 options we have here. We have vertices mode. We will play with that later. We have line def mode. You can click here, or you can press L on the keyboard for a shortcut. Sector mode. Click here to use, or press S on the keyboard. We have brightness mode, which has B on the keyboard. We will toy with that at a later date. We have make sector mode, which we also will play with at a later date. That is M on your keyboard. And we have things mode, which is well, it will place things on your map. All things from player start to items and things. That press T on your keyboard or press on the shortcut there. Also have edit up here, but we will get to that later. Snap to grid is important. We have grid setup. We won't play with that. However, we have, this is zoom by the way, scroll wheel is used for that. It will actually become more important when we have actually made something that we might need to look at from a further distance. But we also have grids, which our mouse pointer can snap to. But we can make them smaller or larger. Now this is a bit of a snag because I needed to put them on a different shortcut than the American / English keyboard setup, because they were all over the place. It was originally other buttons. To change any of that, go into tools and preferences and go to controls. Here you can change any button shortcut to your liking. You will probably have another shortcut here for those. So look that up before you try anything. This is a mod I have installed to more easily make staircases. We will look at that in a video eventually, but not right now. There we have snap to grid. On or off. This we will not play with. There are more stuff, we will look at that now. To test your video, you will have to set up some sort of player to do that. Here you can set up resources automatically. I think I have never done that because I haven't actually looked at it. Oh well. For Doom, add WOD. Okay. Okay. Alright, let's create a new one. We're gonna create Doom. Yay! We have it already. Yeah, that you can do or not do as you see fit. It does not matter for this video anyway. We have a visual mode. You can press here or the W button. Nothing will show here because we haven't actually created anything yet. So there. Then let's create a small room just for a demonstration, like I said we would in the introduction to this video. I chose line def, right click, or double click, I believe does the same thing, and you will notice it snaps to grid here. And it is important to note that textures work in they have a certain size in relativity to your length of wall. So let's create a wall by 512, I think. Left click to place your first point, and 256 is a nice number. And let's just make it a rectangle. You will notice the floor is now filled in with the floor texture of Doom 2, the standard texture. It makes it easier to see just where you are in relative to your to where you are. You can also pan. You can use arrow keys to move up, down, left, right, left, right, up, down. It's quite a reverse. Or you can press the space bar and then you can move the mouse around the pan. So if you have a large map, you can zoom out and look at the room you wish to have. There's also a center button somewhere, but we don't need to. We have exactly one room here right now. If you are in just slightly familiar with the original Doom, you will remember that they have. You usually start with in front of the door you are supposed to have come through, which is odd because the end of the level has a button. Possibly it's supposed to be an elevator button. I'm not quite sure how that works. But for neatness sake, let's make one. I believe the texture is 64 wide. So we need a line that is 64 wide, like this. Press left click to place. And this is where it gets dicey. You're in essence making a new sector. This is a sector. So if you just click there, and click there, you have a new sector with a line in between. If I create a sector out here, I have no way of getting there. But if I add a line to there, I do. Let's undo that. We now have, well, we don't have a door just yet. We have another sector. But well, let's have a short look at how it looks. It's over there. I moved around with my mouse. You don't use the WASD to move in this mode. You use the ASDF. You just shift your hand one button to the right so you can move around. There's our door, or what will be our door. We have the standard textures, floor, ceiling, and all the walls. But I think we will end this video here because I have covered all our current topics. In the next video we will work on textures and editing in well, it isn't 3D mode, but oh well. In the meantime, this was the lazygamer logging off. Bye guys.